afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Mallen. I am the current president of the Bay State chapter of Freedom's Foundation. Welcome, everyone. At this time, I'd like to introduce the guests who will be seated with me at the head table. First, Hero Award recipient, Boston Police Officer Clifton Singletary. The second of our heroes, also from the Boston Police, Sergeant Norberto Perez. Special guest, Boston Police Commissioner Paul Evans. Bay State Chapter Founder and Executive Director, we call him the Judge, Joe Ferrino. Awards Committee Chairwoman, Dottie. Our guest from Freedom's Foundation at Valley Forge, Carolyn Santangelo. The next three are our George Washington Honor Medal recipients. The founder of They Fought, We Ride, Andrew Biggio, retired Marine Corps Sergeant. From the Veterans Honor Project, Cheryl Howard. And the third of our George Washington Honor Medal recipients, Mia Martucci, for Children's Hospital Fundraising. I'd ask you to stand, please, as Explorers Post 99 from Winthrop presents the colors.
Detail on watch. Detail right. Detail present option.
And now I will ask Richard Ferrino Jr., who just recently became a police officer in Winthrop, who was formerly with the Explorers Post, to lead us in a pledge of allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a special treat. We have 12-year-old Haven Pereira, who will be singing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
Thanks a lot, William Pereira. Thank you. And now please retire the colors.
Detail, order, opposite. Detail, present, opposite. Detail, lead, feet. Detail, forward, march.
Thank you, Explorers Post 99. Please, I invite you to be seated as our chapter chaplain, Barbara Civilis, will be offering an invocation.
Holy Spirit, thou art welcome in this place. God, in Jeremiah 4:22, you write, "For my people are foolish. They have not known me. They are silly children and have no understanding. They are wise to evil, but to do good they have no knowledge." Lord, we thank you for those people we honor today. It is very clear that each of these exceptional individuals do have knowledge to do good. We ask you to send us more ordinary people who touch your hand by performing extraordinary deeds in their communities. Thank you for the special grace that you have put into the hearts of Mia, Cheryl, and Andrew. We are grateful, God, for the bravery of our public safety officers, Clifton and Norberto. Please remind us to support and enter our houses of worship and to practice our faith. Aid us in making them places of attentive prayer and conversation with you. Assist us to make a difference. Transform us to serve you in spirit, mind, body, and soul. Help us daily to take quiet time to listen to your instructions and recognize the answer to our prayers. Protect and heal our members who are ill, and bring those who are deceased into the palm of your hand. Lord, bless all who are gathered in this room in a circle of love and strength. Every outstanding deed that is performed in our neighborhoods makes the fabric of our society better, safer, stronger, as we all serve you. One person at a time, one situation at a time, with your guidance, Lord, we can go on changing our worlds. Thank you for the food that we are about to eat, and bless those who have prepared it and who have served it, and bless the committee for this beautiful turnout. God bless you.
Thank you, Barbara, our chapter chaplain. Try saying that 3 times fast. I'd like to invite, before we start dinner, lunch, I'd like to invite Representative Adrian Madero forward for the purposes of presentations from the legislature. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are we doing today? Excellent, excellent. First of all, before we get into the citation presentations, I want to just extend my gratitude not only to the award recipients, but also to the board members of the Freedoms Foundation. This is just one event in the year, but these folks spend the entire year doing God's work, really helping to support our communities, and they do a great job. So I just want to give a round of applause and say thank you for everything. it was about this time last year that I was actually at this event celebrating my cousin, Dr. Regina Markey, who was a George Washington, is that the name of the medal? A George Washington medal recipient, so it's nice to be back and celebrate this year's honorees. I'm going to go one by one and call up the honorees. I have citations from myself, from the State Senator Joe Boncory, and from Speaker of the House Robert DeLeo, who's the state rep from Winthrop. And by the way, I want to say that, you know, all these folks are community heroes, some in the traditional sense are public servants, but, you know, public safety officials, excuse me, but there are other community heroes that we're recognizing today. Folks who spend time raising money for charitable causes, and folks who give back to veterans and things of that nature. So I think we use the community hero term very broadly here today, and I want to call the first community hero up, young Mia Martucci. And I'm just going to read one citation because all the language is pretty similar. You can come on up. This one is from the speaker, and I'm going to read the speaker's citation because he's the big boss, so you know what I mean? Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Reps offers its sincerest congratulations to Mia in recognition of your commitment to fundraising on behalf of cancer research and for being a recipient of the George Washington Medal for 2017. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors dated today, the 29th of April. Congratulations. Stay up there with the blue picture, but I'm going to give you a bunch of things. All right. There you go, ready? Got it. All right. Next up, Cheryl Howard. And her award is in recognition for her dedication and commitment as the founder of the Veterans Honor Project and for receiving the 2017 George Washington Honor Medal. Congratulations. And the Senate one. Got it. Congratulations, Cheryl. Next up is a dear friend of mine, someone who served our country in the military, and when he came back, has continued to give back to other veterans, founding the Boston Wounded Veterans Run. When's it happening, Andy?
May 21.
May 21st. Get ready, because there'll be thousands of motorcycles coming through this neighborhood. It's always an awesome sight. Andy, come on up. And the Wounded Veterans Run is also known as They Fought, We Ride. That's what he's the founder of. See, he doesn't like the spotlight. He tries to run away. Congratulations. One second, folks. You think it's easy organizing all these citations? All right. I'd actually like to call up the next two gentlemen together, Officers Singletary and Perez. These gentlemen, they really had some tremendous acts of heroism in the firefight that was in Orient Heights several months ago. We don't need to go into the details, but needless to say, there are two officers alive because of the quick and efficient work and the brave work of these two gentlemen. Officer Clifton Singletary and Sergeant Norberto Perez. In closing, I'd like to also just recognize Commissioner Evans and all of the Boston police officers who are here in support of their brothers today. and warm congratulations to all the recipients.
Thank you, Representative Madero. A little bit of housekeeping before we go to dinner. Somebody has a silver vehicle out here who's blocking someone else in. It's either 1 or an I, JVT80 is the license plate. And they want you to move it and then let the fellow in Gus's barber shop know that it's been moved. Now that's classic East Boston. There you go. So, please move that one, whoever you are. In the meantime, we are ready to be served by Spinelli's fine wait staff. Once dessert's on the table, we'll begin with our formal program. Please enjoy your lunch. In the interest of time, I'd like to get our program started. Good afternoon, all of you, honored guests. Since many of you are unfamiliar with Freedom's Foundation, I'd like to take a few minutes to tell you about it. It was founded in 1949 by General Dwight D. Eisenhower, soon to be president, along with several business leaders, among them being E.F. Hutton of the brokerage fame. Please indulge me as I read the vision statement of Freedom's Foundation. All Americans actively engaged in our democracy by celebrating our heritage, defending the Constitution, and protecting individual freedoms. And now the mission statement of Freedom's Foundation. We educate about American rights and responsibilities, honor acts of civic virtue, and challenge all to reject apathy and get involved. The Bay State chapter is one of 28 chapters nationwide. Today we're here to fulfill our mission to honor those who have done remarkable feats of civic virtue and heroism. This year we're honoring 3 outstanding people for the George Washington Honor Medal for community service. And for the first time, this chapter is participating in a new program from Freedom's Foundation, honoring 2 local police officers with the Heroes Award. Shortly, our awards chairperson, Dottie will give you a little more details about the awards process. Additionally, each year we send approximately 8 to 10 high school students to Valley Forge, Pennsylvania, to the headquarters of Freedom's Foundation, where they participate in a 3-day youth leadership conference. They learn about their roles and responsibilities as citizens in a free country. They learn leadership skills, entrepreneurial skills, and most particularly they learn about our founding documents, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Most recently, we are preparing to participate in one of the other programs, which is a teacher's program, where we can send teachers to Valley Forge where they learn more about these topics that somehow are lacking in the school curriculum lately. And this way, as we move forward, we'll have more and more of our youth educated properly about our government. Now I would like to bring forward Dottie, who is our awards chair. She's done a remarkable job in putting this together and in doing the nominations. Please welcome Dottie D'Onofrio.
Thank you, folks. Distinguished head table guests, members, families, and friends. Since the 1940s, our Bay State chapter of Freedom's Foundation continues to actively participate and support our prestigious national programs. The awards categories are under the banner of patriotism, responsible citizenship, and community involvement. The national panel of jurors have awarded these recipients for their outstanding achievements that reflect the best of American spirit. They have been chosen amongst hundreds of candidates all across the country, and it is always an honor to search out and to nominate these outstanding citizens, and today you come to meet them. Thank you. I would like to introduce we've switched a little bit. We're very fortunate here in Massachusetts, okay? And our young men and women that they choose to go into a challenging career into law enforcement, and they dedicate their lives 24/7 to protect. We're honored to have with us today the City of Boston's Police Commissioner, William Evans. He's been a guiding leader in her police departments and overall operations. He was born right around the corner in South Boston, and Commissioner Evans has been with the Boston Police Department for 35 years, rising up through the ranks from 2009 until his appointment by Mayor Walsh in 2014. Commissioner Evans was in charge of the Bureau of Field Services, supervising the department's 1,800 patrol forces. During his career, he has forged a strong police-community relationship with residents, local businesses, and academy institutions. Commissioner Evans has an extensive continuing educational background in governing and in law enforcement, and we thank him today for taking time from a very busy schedule. And I would like to ask Carolyn Santiago to, if she would please come up. Caroline has been on a driving course and motivational person down as Director of Programs and Education down at Freedom's Foundation at Valley Forge. And Caroline and Commissioner Evans, if you would join us up for a moment, please, sir. And he unfortunately has to leave us.
So Commissioner, on behalf of Freedom's Foundation and our staff and volunteers, I'd like to present you with our challenge point to thank you for all you do for the city of Boston and for all its citizens. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, and thank you to the Freedom Foundation. You know, it's a great honor to be here, and I just want to thank you for honoring our officers. You know, Cliff and Norberto, you know, they're real heroes, and you got the right two people that you're honoring, because back in October on Gladstone, they were real heroes, as well as a lot of my officers were real heroes that day, and if it wasn't for them, then our two officers who are recovering from their wounds wouldn't be alive today. And so I just want to thank them. I want to thank all the Captain, Comic, all the officers from District 7, Sergeant Parolin, Head of Superiors, and Larry Calderon. Together, I think we got the greatest department in the world, and I'm very fortunate to lead this department. And I just want to thank you all for recognizing how difficult this job is nowadays, and it's nice to get this type of appreciation, because it's not an easy job. We've seen what it was and the dangers, but honestly, I just want to thank you. You couldn't ask for a better two heroes to honor today. So thank you all for being here.
See what I mean about 24/7 duty calls, even for the boss. What I would like to do is, I would like to share with you where we have talked about this year being our first year in the Heroes Award, and we have two exemplary officers with us here today. On the Boston Police Department Police Shield, encircling the seal is the motto that is translated means, God be with us as he was with our fathers. Each day as they set out, our men in blue, with their sworn duty to serve and protect, never know what they will be encountering. Boston Area 7 police officers responded to a domestic call only to be met with repeated gunfire, resulting in one officer shot in the neck, chest, and arm, and a second officer shot in the groin, severing the femoral artery. With the dreaded call, officer down, Boston Police Department Elite Squad Team Officer Clifton Singletary and Boston Police Sergeant Norberto Perez arrived on the scene. As they were in the midst of gunfire, they were carrying wounded Officer Morris up and out of the building in the basement, and still live gunfire surrounding them. They looked and they realized that there was a life-threatening, extensive bleeding of their brother officer. Instinct and training kicked in, with Officer Singletary reaching down into Officer Morris's wound with his fingertips. He clamped and closed the femoral artery. Sergeant Perez had just completed a life-saving tourniquet course, and he ripped off the belt and he administered to the critically wounded officer as they were moving him up and out of the building in the stairwell. This quick life-saving action by these two very brave men in blue ultimately saved the life of their comrade. Sergeant Norma Perez performs a higher and more complex level of duties in departmental reporting, radio calls, dispatch, serving and linking, keeping his supervisors informed, responding to crime scenes as he did on that fateful night of crime here in East Boston. Officer Singletary, Special Weapons and Tactics SWAT Team Unit, is a highly trained paramilitary officer. The SWAT teams are called in when an incident presents significant risk to other law enforcement and to the public. Using advanced expertise and teamwork, he and Sergeant Perez, our first and this year's Bay State Chapter of Freedom's Hero awardees, on this October night, God was with them, and he blessed our two heroes. And we would like to present him, both of them, if they would step forward, please. This is a small token of our respect and admiration, and for your families who stand behind you 24/7 each day that you go off to protect and serve. Thank you.
First, I want to say hello to everyone, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank many of you that are in this room today. A lot of you are friends, family. I want to thank Dr. Mallen, Dottie, for being so tenacious and tracking me and Cliffy down and making this all possible. She's one serious Italian woman. I don't want to tangle with her. I also want to thank Judge Ferrino. I had the pleasure of going in front of his courtroom almost 35 years ago when I was a rookie officer. One thing I learned back as a rookie was the fairness in his court, in his courtroom. And I carried that throughout my whole career because I've been afforded the opportunity to work the entire city of Boston. I live in this community. I came to this community approximately almost 35 years ago. I'm also a classmate of the commissioner. So he set the bar over 30 years ago, and I hope I have met today. I want to thank the mayor, the commissioner, the Superior Officers Association, Mark, who's always been in my corner, the Detectives Association, Captain McCormick and all my brothers from District 7. I want to thank my family, my daughter Marina, my son, who's a second lieutenant, assigned to the 82nd Airborne Tank Division, who's currently being deployed to Korea. cousin Danny and his family. And I'm deeply humbled to be here. And I believe that if it wasn't for the divine intervention and all the things that came into place, we wouldn't be here. And on that note, I just want to say thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Officer Clifton, Singletary, Boston Police Department. I just want to take this opportunity to thank pretty much everybody for being here supporting us tonight. More importantly, the Freedom Foundation for nominating us, for this award for heroism. Before I get into my acknowledgments, I would like to take this moment just to thank Dr. Matt Mallen, Dottie, like Norberto said, Dottie's incredible. I think we just inherited a friend for the rest of our lives. We've got Ferrino and Carolyn Santangelo and the entire selection committee. The Honorable Mayor Marty Walsh, Commissioner Evans, the Boston Police Patrolmen's Association, the Detectives Benevolent Association, the Superior Officers Federation, the Massachusetts Association of Minority Law Enforcement Officers. And most of all, I'd like to thank my beautiful wife, Clarasol, and my children, Liliana, Danny, Sydney, CJ, and Asia. Without them by my side, honest to God, I don't know how I would function. I live for my family, and my family lives for me. There's been talk about divine intervention and God. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm a spiritual man, and I preach this three things to my family: God, family, and career. That night, October 12, 2016, you've heard the circumstances surrounding that incident. How ironic it was at the base of the Madonna, right? God doesn't make mistakes. He puts us all at the right place at the right time for the right reasons. That's why Richie and Maddie are home with their families right now as we speak. I would like for you all to take this moment to pray for them and their families, and also Captain McCormick and his staff at District 7. They've endured a lot these past several months. And I just want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And I would ask God to protect all of us in the Boston Police Department. And may God bless America.
Are we indeed blessed and fortunate to have such wonderful people protecting us? God bless you. What I would like to do now, as I had mentioned to you before, and you've met her briefly, Carolyn Santiago is a member of the Freedoms Foundation at National, and I would like to have you welcome her with a warm welcome. And she brought along a friend who has been taking good care of her, and that is Lois Severis. She's in charge of public relations down at National. So last year, if you remember, we had the national president, and this year we have the national director. I'd like to introduce Caroline, please.
Thank you, Dottie, for those kind words. It's a great honor for me to be here today on behalf of the national headquarters of Freedoms Foundation. I've been with the Freedoms Foundation 18 years, and my job has pretty much seen me behind the scenes, making sure things run smoothly. So being out front of all of you today is that I'm a little fish out of water, so please bear with me. But I would like to take a moment to thank the Bay State chapter for their invitation to join them today. It's a privilege to be part of this celebration honoring our award recipients. Congratulations to those not only who receive awards today, but to our volunteer chapter members who made this day possible. In particular, Chapter President, Dr. Mallen. Also, our awards VP, Dottie. Dottie. I've had the pleasure of working with Dottie on these awards programs for several years. And I know how much effort she put in to make today possible and to make a huge success. So from one behind-the-scenes person to another, congratulations on a great event, Dottie. Thank you so much for all your hard work. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank my dear friend, Judge Joseph Ferrino. He has been asking me to come up and visit the Bay State chapter for many years. I'm finally here, Judge. We finally made it. I thank you for all your support, for myself personally, for Freedoms Foundation, our mission, and our programs. Thank you so much, Judge, for everything. At Freedoms Foundation at Valley Forge, we have a simple mission: to educate about American rights and responsibilities, honor acts of civic virtue, and challenge all to reject apathy and get involved. And what that boils down to, for me, is the words responsible citizenship. Mia, Cheryl, Andrew, Sergeant Perez, and Officer Singletary, you are the faces and the pure definition of responsible citizenship. From honoring our returning heroes, to assisting disabled veterans, to raising funds and spirits to help sick children, to racing into danger to save another's life. All of these things exemplify what it means to be a responsible citizen. Our recipients aren't sitting on the sidelines waiting for others to act. They are taking action and encouraging others to follow their lead, making their communities, their state, and our nation better for all. Our honorees represent what Freedoms Foundation stands for, what we honor, and what we instill in our youth through our Spirit of America Youth Leadership Program and our graduate teachers, seminars, and workshops. Freedoms Foundation created the Bill of Responsibilities in 1985, and it's at the core of all of our programs. It is the belief that freedom and responsibility are mutual and inseparable. We can ensure enjoyment of the one only by exercising the other. Freedom for all of us depends on responsibility by each of us. In the 10 listed responsibilities, there's the themes of respect, participation, accountability, productivity, and generosity. They run through all the themes, and these themes are evident in our award recipients today. When the National Awards were first presented back in 1949 in a dairy barn on the campus of Freedoms Foundation at Valley Forge by then General Dwight David Eisenhower, it was the hope that the words and deeds of the recipients that day would be emulated amongst their peers for years to come. Today, 68 years later, it's my hope more than ever that that continues to happen. Too many times in this day and age, we see the negative impact of those not taking personal responsibility for their actions. Join Freedoms Foundation in showcasing the positive and recognizing what is good about our country, and teaching our youth to be respectful, accountable, productive, and generous to others, and to be active participants in their lives, and not just passive observers from the phones of their screens on their phones. With people like this year's National and Hero Award recipients and our volunteer chapters leading the way, we can make this happen. So on behalf of the Board of Directors and staff at Freedoms Foundation, congratulations to this year's recipients, but more importantly, thank you. Thank you for being engaged, thank you for being responsible citizens, and may others always follow your lead. Thank you very much.
Caroline, I would like to thank you and Lois for traveling up from Pennsylvania, from Valley Forge, and doing such a remarkable job as you do every day down at the office. And I have a little token. We have a gentleman up in Marblehead, Massachusetts, who designed similar to Hummels. And this is a little something from me to you for all your support, honey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dottie. Before I leave today, if I could have Ed and Matt come up quickly. As I've talked about, the Freedoms Foundation, we're very fortunate to have some amazing volunteers. And in particular, we were fortunate enough to have a dynamic husband and wife team who truly led and continue to lead a life of giving back to others and taking action where needed. It's my privilege to help the Bay State chapter of Freedoms Foundation pay tribute to this outstanding couple by placing in their honor a brick at the Freedoms Foundation Walk of Honor, which it leads into our Medal of Honor Grove, which is 52 acres dedicated to the recipients of the Medal of Honor. That's the highest award for valor you can receive in this country. And the Walk of Honor recognizes outstanding civilians who have led lives of character and integrity. The couple we honor today are Jeanette and Judge Joseph Ferrino. Judge, I'd like to present you a frank certificate recognizing you and your late wife and all you've done and given to the Bay State chapter, to Freedoms Foundation, to the greater Boston community, and to your country. Thank you so much for all you do.
Speech.
You know, unaccustomed as I am to public speaking, I've got to pick up a laugh out of that. But I want to not duplicate some of the things that have been said by the President regarding the history of Freedom Foundation and the lovely speech of, that's better. That's better. Yeah, and the lovely speech that my good and dear friend of 18 years, who has always been available to our chapter for information, for literature, for procedures to follow, and she's always been there in 18 years, and she's been a joy for all of our staff, of our chapter, whenever she was looking for information and so on. So we're honored at her and her associate to come up and spend some time with us. It's been a fighting thing with the board down there, and we finally got the both of them to come up and spend some time with us, and we're delighted for that. But I'm not going to make my usual talk, but I do want to congratulate our guests of honor. I want to congratulate our recipients and especially the 3 Congressional Medal of Honor recipients of George Washington medals, and not from those are what I mentioned are reserved for veterans who have either given their lives or have come close to it. And at some point in time, I would love for all of you, whether you're members or not, to I'll get some literature on the Congressional Medal of Honor, which is beautifully made, and we have a special group that have formed another group that is registered as a corporation, and that's for the Congressional Medal of Honor maintenance. So, with all of the programs and with all of the various availability of them, I encourage you to either join or at least get some material and read about it. We've been doing it for 38 years, and we have sent roughly 450 young men and women down to Valley Forge for a conference of 4 days, not 3, including travel time. And some of them now are doctors, lawyers, and there's a young lady from East Boston here that had participating in one of our programs, and she acted as a judge in mock trials, and she was so impressed by her becoming a person that won in the contest of 6 high schools, and that she became the judge of the year that year, that she went on to law school and now is a judge herself. So these are the things that happen through our programs. So I'm sure, and I said that I'd be brief, and I will. I want to again give a general vote of thanks to the people of our chapter. They have been loyal to us, to the community, and without them, and they have been steadily members and have done yeoman work with also the awards program, with raising money for the youngsters to go to Valley Forge. And I'm so pleased and thanking you that it wouldn't be 38 years doesn't seem like a long time, but for them to be loyal, and a lot of them are right here, and I can't single them all out, but they have made this chapter well known and one of the leading chapters in the not only the Commonwealth, but in the United States. It's one of our people, our members that have really done so much. Then I want to just acknowledge a few people, and one of them, or 2 of them, sponsored the color guard in making them our guests for the dinner. And one was Paul Roy, one of our local impresarios in the insurance business, and another good friend of mine, and a person who is an educator, and with two PhDs, and currently teaches at Northeastern University, Frank Adamanolo, Professor. I know that nobody is here from the other, but would you just stand and take a bow, please? And the committee that put this luncheon together is to be commended for a lot of work and a lot of running around and confronting people with requests and coming forth with this event today. And I want to thank you all for all your hard work. And a special thank you for a person who very rarely gets any recognition, but without her, I don't know that we could function, and that's Marissa DiPietro, who was our secretary, and maintains our books, maintains all of the current work in promoting the work of our chapter, and always sits in the background somewhere. And thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for being here.
May I have your attention, please? I would ask you now to reflect on the sacrifices that millions of our men and women have made to ensure that our freedoms and the safety of our great country, our veterans. Today, I'm very proud to be presenting retired U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Andrew Biggio. Andrew is the founder of Boston's Wounded Veterans Ride. Under the banner of They Fought, We Ride. Andrew grew up in a very strong military family, and in his earliest years, he knew that he also wanted to serve. At around age 11, his choice would be the U.S. Marine Corps. Upon graduation from Mallen Catholic High School in 2006, Andrew enlisted and served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 2006 to 2012. He had 2 deployments, one Iraq and again in Afghanistan. Just home from Iraq, and while attending a special Veterans Appreciation Red Sox game here at Fenway Park, Andrew met and got talking with a family from Cape Cod, Massachusetts, whose son was severely injured and facing both head and brain reconstructive surgeries. Andrew also learned that the veterans' housing allotment monies and the overall financial setting of the family would not be able to meet the pending needs and expenses that they were being faced with. Deeply troubled, Andrew set about to lend a helping hand. He spread the word in gathering up a few fellow bikers, and they created a small fundraising event. Lo and behold, over 300 bikers and friends answered his call. Coming together, they raised close to $25,000 to aid in preparing the house for this young wounded warrior. In 2010, Andrew would learn that a buddy who he had served with while in Afghanistan was severely injured and was facing his legs being amputated. Again, knowing the financial hardship the family would be facing, Andrew set about hosting his second ride. This time, over 1,200 brother bikers and friends answered the call. Now Andrew realized they had a win-win fundraising setting with his brother bikers, and so he set about to move this to a bigger and better venue. Thus was born the Boston Annual Bike Riders Run for Wounded Veterans. Back in those earlier days, gathering of the bikers and supporters was held over here at the I-10 Lodge parking lot in Revere, Massachusetts. East Boston. Paris Street. Thank you. Upon ride's completion, the lodge members and family and friends would host a thank you barbecue. In the truest spirit of volunteerism, Andrew had organized his team of great volunteers. Now we fast forward. Today there are over 16 states, also including Manchester, England, that host an annual ride to help aid in their Wounded Warriors fundraising programs. Boston being the first and the largest venue sees Andrew being called upon for his advice, donations, and the how-tos. They fought, we ride. Andrew expresses to all and any who will listen. At one closing ceremony, it brought tears and cheers as Andrew presented a double amputee warrior and a former biker a specially built combination trike bike to this wonderful young man. Boston's annual travels take the bikers and the friends about 25 miles through the cities and towns with the support of the police and the fire departments. The grand finishing rally is held over to the Suffolk Downs racetrack and stadium. All along the ride route, public turnout is fantastic, with folks cheering them on and waving American flags. This spectacular event saw over 6,000 motorcyclists turn out for the 2016 6th Annual Wounded Veterans Ride, enabling Andrew's committee to make a donation of $30,000 presented to each of now the 5 wounded warriors that were being honored. Recently and unexpectedly, Andrew received a check in the amount of $75,000 from then presidential candidate, now President Donald Trump. In support of the most worthy nonprofit fundraiser, Andrew's statement was, "Can you imagine what we can do moving forward helping our wounded warriors?" Today, police officer Andrew Biggio is employed with the Boston Metropolitan Transit Authority. Andrew serves the I-10 Veterans Post in East Boston as their senior vice commander, a dedicated, caring young man, a veteran whose start was just wanting to help, has created an undertaking that continues to grow and achieve in major proportions, all under the banner of volunteerism. It goes without saying that Andrew serves as a great role model to his younger brother, Cameron, and Brendan, and his family who's with us today, community and fellow bikers. They all hold a very strong, meaningful admiration for all that Andrew continues to achieve. Please welcome Andrew.
How's everyone doing? I hope dessert was good. Yeah, to be a military veteran and get an award that has General Washington's face and name on it, it's kind of a big deal. Like a really big deal, so give me a second. So, I'm not retired. It says that on the name placement. I'm a transit cop in Boston as well. Work alongside these guys, most of the D4 guys. I'm out of Back Bay area, Mass Ave, Copley. So I'm really happy to see a police themed thing going on tonight. You know, it is a hard time to be a police officer. It's not an easy job. You should know that getting into it, regardless of what people say or what you see on Facebook or social media. The other day, I brought in some old clothes that belonged to my girlfriend, you know, hand-me-downs she didn't want anymore, to give to a homeless girl that lives near me at the station. She's battling drug addiction. And I'm giving her a bag of clothes, and some guy on a bicycle rides by and he goes, "Leave her the F alone." Okay? Little did this guy know what I was actually doing. And the reason why I mentioned that story is just to kind of give you a taste of what police officers are going through. People seem to have this brain mentality where they see a 15-second video or 10-second video on social media and say, all police officers are like that, or all, you know, so think of the bigger picture. There's a lot of cops out there doing an amazing job day in and day out. So once again, I'm glad to see the guys on it from but moving on, you know, we've been doing this motorcycle run for 7 years now. We've raised over $1 million. None of my staff collects a salary. Every cent goes to these different wounded veterans we pick each year. This is a hobby for all of us. I started doing it around 22 years old, and a lot of people find that impressive. That I started doing charity work at 22 years old and built this organization. There's a girl here who's 13, and I think she's raised over 20 grand. And if I can give you any advice, is do not stop doing charity work, please, because it helped pave the way for me. It'll build a resume for you, and it'll open up connections and networking for the rest of your life. This is stuff you can put on a college resume and get into school and everything like that. And don't stop doing it. It's only going to get bigger and better. May 21st is our next event. It's at Suffolk Downs. You don't need a motorcycle to participate. Come. We have 5 different honorees, possibly venturing into a 6th honoree thanks to fundraising. Dottie did mention I got a check from the now president. I'm very appreciative without getting into politics, but it was extremely helpful. We helped a Marine get a double arm transplant. He was a quadruple amputee, missing both arms, both legs, got blown up in Afghanistan, and he's able to get a double arm transplant at Brigham Women's Hospital with some of the money we provided. I want to thank Freedom's Foundation for nominating me for this award. I really appreciate it. My family and the rest of the Wounded Vet Run committee that's here. And I just want to say thanks and best of luck to all the other honorees here and everyone that came today. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to introduce, and I would like to also thank, we have a committee this year that put a lot of hard work and effort behind the scenes to making this day possible. We have our committee member and member of our Winthrop School Committee, Ron.
Thank you, Dottie. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed the program so far. It's really an extreme pleasure for me as a veteran and as a friend to be able to sit here or stand here today and honor Cheryl Howard for her work within the community of Winthrop. Cheryl has been a real estate agent in Winthrop for over 20 years. I know her husband, and the entire family. They're wonderful people and have done a lot of good in the community. Winthrop is going through what some people call a renaissance. There's a lot of positive things going on in town, a lot of changes. Veterans Road is Route 145, usually known as the trucker's route. Because anybody that has to go down to Deer Island has to take 145 into Deer Island. And very recently, within the past year and a half, the town has made some improvements. They've gotten rid of a lot of trees. They've got rid of the old chain link fencing that abuts the golf course, and it really, really looks nice. So enter Cheryl Howard. She has a vision driving along Veterans Road. Wouldn't it be nice if every utility pole along Veterans Road had a beautiful American flag on it? And it's something that she was serious about.
and she spoke to the American Legion. She went to the town fathers and got their blessings, and they said, yeah, go ahead, do it. So with the help of others, the American Legion and some veterans, one of whom I see here today, Richard Honan, I know there were several others here. Matt was here, Joe Wallace and Mike, that we had earlier that had to leave. They helped Cheryl in the actual putting them up. She also had to go, and this to me is the big deal. Did you ever try to deal with a utility company? She had to go to the utility company and ask if they could place these American flags on the poles. And you were very successful. Maybe you can do something about the double poles that are. But anyway, Cheryl took it upon herself to raise funds. She purchased the flags. The flags were put up. And I gotta tell you, between May and October, when you drive down Veterans Road, especially on a sunny day, when the reflection of the sun off the green grass of the golf course, and you see those American flags being lit by the sun from behind, it's really a very, very touching and beautiful, beautiful sight. So we're going to recognize Cheryl for her Veterans Honor Project as a recipient of the George Washington Honor Medal.
So thank you to the Bay State Chapter of Freedom's Foundation at Valley Forge, Chapter President Matt Mallen, Dottie, thank you so much. The Honorable Judge Ferrino, my fellow recipients, Mia Martucci, Andrew Biggio, esteemed guests and honorees here, my family, my friends. It's great to be with you today. This award, the George Washington Medal of the National Freedoms Foundation at Valley Forge, is a recognition of a selfless act. I share this honor with Richard Honan, Matt Honan, Joe Wallace, Honan Sign, all the donors, all the very generous donors, Verizon, American Legion Post 146, and the Winthrop Town officials. Everyone was very helpful and supportive. The Veterans Road of Honor project started with an aha moment. As I drove down Veterans Road on Memorial Day 2015, I began to think of our veterans and our military men and women and their families. The feelings of love and gratitude were instant and powerful. A Veterans Road needed to be adorned with our beautiful flag. This road has become a visual display of pride and support. It is meant to make us pause and be mindful that the men and women who protect and serve us. So if and when we drive down Veterans Road, we should say a prayer for our veterans, military, and our beautiful country, and that we'll be doing a small part to keep peace in our world. So I must recognize Richard Honan again. Thank you, Richard, to inspire me to give and do. You're such an inspiration, so thank you. The flag should be going up pretty soon, and we're going to expand our project. So thank you, everyone, and God bless America. Everyone stay safe.
As Andrew pointed out to our youngest and probably one of the most inspirational that I was able to research and bring forth to the committee and to Freedoms. Freedoms is quite an interesting process in the sense that what they do is these are nominated candidates that are sent down to Valley Forge. Once they're received, they're put into the process of what they call the jurors pool. These are members of the Freedoms Foundation all across the country that are chosen to be serving as a jurist, as once our own Judge Ferrino served. And what they do is they do a process of elimination. So when you're looking at these outstanding candidates and recipients today, know that it was from hundreds that were submitted and a few were chosen, and we're celebrating them. With this, I'd like to call upon our president, Dr. Mallen, to present our youngest and lovely Maria Martucci.
Thank you, Dottie, and good evening, good afternoon again. Mia Martucci, this is a really special young lady. She's only 13 years old. I am certain that she is the youngest one we have ever honored out of over 100 people in the last 30 plus years. I tried to find out from National, but they don't have records of age. But I dare say she might be, and probably is, the youngest one of thousands nationwide who have received the George Washington Honor Medal. This is your proud family right here. Thank you. Now, at the age of 9, while vacationing with her family, she was in a Toys R Us store, and they were selling dolls. What do they call those dolls? True Hope dolls. And the proceeds of the sales of the dolls goes to children with cancer. And Mia wanted to spend her Christmas money to buy dolls. Now her mother, Tracy, suggested that maybe she should start a little fundraising effort on her own, and thus began Mia's lemonade stand. So by selling lemonade, that first year she raised $698, and that went to Children's Hospital to help kids with cancer. In the succeeding few years, it's been 5 years total, she's raised over $20,000 for Children's Hospital. And last year, she was honored by Children's Hospital with the Young Philanthropist Award. I bet you were one of the youngest young philanthropists, too. She's also been engaged in toy drives where she's collected over 60 bags of new toys, also going to sick children. Coin drives, too, where people throw their extra coins, and that's raised more money. She plans to keep on going. Somehow she finds time also to participate in soccer, basketball, and ice hockey. And just very recently, her hockey team, which is coached by her dad, Tony, won the state championship. So Mia, if you would come on up here and allow me to present you with the George Washington Honor Medal. Thank you.
Why don't you hold this for me? And then that way there.
First, I would like to thank Ms. Donforio for nominating me and Mr. Mallen for presenting me with this prestigious award. This is a real honor for me to be recognized with an award as important as this. I would not be up here without the love and support and generosity of family, friends, and the great people from the town of Winthrop. Another special thanks goes out to Boston Children's Hospital and the community fundraising team, Nikki, Tara, and Emily, for their guidance in my donation process. Lastly, I would especially like to thank my mom. Without all of her help, I would not be nearly as successful in my fundraising efforts. Thank you so much.
Now you know why Freedom's Foundation at Valley Forge has been so supportive down through the years in the Bay State chapter being able to accomplish all we've done. I'd like to say thank you to the recipients for their outstanding community endeavors. They set a shining example of volunteerism. The Winters Explorers posts that were with us, thank you so much. They have gone on to be state and national champions, many who go and study law enforcement. A wonderful friend to the chapter, a past presenter, representing WCAT, is videotaping for us once again. I'd like to take a moment for those tired feet, Barbara. I have a little something for you.
Go to the video.
Barbara works with our Speaker of the House, Mr. DeLeo, and she is constantly running, filming, presenting, and taking on wearing numerous hats. Barbara, thank you.
Thank you, Dottie.
I appreciate all that has been done. And I would like to also say to Frank Adabatola, he's a brand new father. He's serving on the board, and I would ask him to come forward. Continued success with the little Frank the Third. I want to thank you one and all, and I know that whoever precedes me in this chair will do as good, if not better, a job. And we are adjourned, except for the fact that our president would like to speak to you one more time.
Thank you, Dottie. Good job. Thank you. Dottie, been out here. So as we close today, once again, just want to congratulate our heroes, Officer Clifton Singletary, Sergeant Norberto Perez, the George Washington Honor Medal winners, Andrew Biggio, Cheryl Howard, Mia Martucci. And a big thank you to my committee that did a great job, which included Dottie, Joe Ferrino, Ed Coletta, Marisa Di Pietro, Buddy Mangini, Ron Vecchia, and Sherry Raftery. And thank you to the Winthrop Explorers Post, who added some patriotic dignity to our event. And it's too bad they had to leave. They were going to another event. I'd like to name them Michael Mahoney, R.J. St. Jean, Lily Morales, and Bo Schlichting. And thank you. And of course to our special guest from Valley Forge, Carolyn Santangelo. And in the back, Luis Savarisi, who is the chapter liaison, all the way up from Valley Forge. Thank you. Our police commissioner, William Evans. Thank you, of course, to Spinelli's for the fine food and the venue. And thank you to each and every one of you for your attendance and your thoughtfulness and your contributions. By the way, if you'd like to join, there's literature out in the front. We'd be happy to have some membership and participation. Thanks again. Good afternoon.